PH. Here. I'm going to be working on a screenplay tonight. I'll be working on Rise of Kings episode 2. So it's going to be interesting to be working on the second draft of it, and I thought I'd do it live, a live stream of it, film it, be the filmmaker I am, test out the angles and the technology to at the same time. Right now I'm working off of Wirecast Play, 2 computers, an iPhone and a microphone, and I am testing the delay. As you can see, this is all free software. Yeah, whatever. It's my first one. I am running everything off of free software. So everything is here is just hardware, but you can really get everything online, and you can do this yourself if you have the computer that could run it. As you can see, there's Wirecast Play. This is off my phone again. Here's a fun angle. As you can see, I am going to be using Writer Duet today. It's a fun program. I've really just started using it, and it's really well laid out for a writer. If you just really dive in, and it's for any format. It's made for screenwriters, from what I know. I really haven't done much research, to be honest with you, but it's very intuitive. I wrote on it last week a little bit, or 2 weeks ago a little bit, and flowed really nicely. Got to be aware of certain things, but it's very intuitive, and it's built for a writer, and in really any format it translates to. But I really do like the fact, and I'll show you some stuff right now. I'm going to be writing off of a different one, but I like the fact that there's a heart chart where that's going to be a plotting chart, and you can export your scripts into all these formats, and you can import them from any format too. So that really is a nice tool to have. Any writer's tool belt in the 21st century. Has some formats, styles, documents. It's just very simply laid out. It's very intuitive. You should be able to hop on it very easily. You can choose your your views. If you want multi-page scene cards, you have to get some scene cards right there too. Plugins. Yeah. I don't even think I'll even touch all this stuff. I'm a very basic screenwriter. I just like my commands. That's about it. So as we get in, this is going to be my second draft. Rise of Kings is my first award-winning screenplay ever. But it is my second draft, and I am excited to really get into writing this. And as you can see, I can go through multiple side of things. I'm running a little cheap right now, as I'm using my laptop to bypass a lot of things and just use the Writer's Duet's webcam program. So you can have a live chat, and this is the chat area right here, as this right here is your scene cards. So you can have a lot of fun with this program, very, very easily. I guess I said, it's extremely intuitive, and I'm going to be taking advantage of that and showing you what it can do, as I'm playing around with technology as we speak. I don't talk about the screenplay very often, and this is another reason why I'm doing the live cast on top of it. I need to um, try my best. Basically, is the way I look at it, and I've written a lot of screenplays now. But the one thing about my screenplays is I've not really written second drafts. So the Rise of Kings I'm taking into it originally was a 3 episode arc. I'm turning it into a feature, but I'm turning it into a webisode style. So it can be shot like 8 webisodes and released as a comic book and a graphic novel on the side of it. And it'll be, I'm looking at about 120 pages is where I want to go. This screenplay is, my goal is to make it organic. I already have a good outline. The pilot won awards. It was a finalist at the Stars Denver Film Festival. So I got a good footing on this already story-wise, and I know that it draws interest. Now it's cleaning it up, making it better. It's been years since I touched the script, so we'll see what happens. I'm not one to force art. I'm just one to let it happen. And that's one thing I don't really discuss much, my process. If it feels pushed and feels forced, that's where I think it loses authenticity and it loses spirit. And I'm all about spirit. So as you can see, it's taken me many years to start writing a second script or second draft for the script. I wrote this first script I think 2-3 days right after there was a car accident between those days too, so I was hurting. My back just flared up a couple of days ago, so it was just like reminding me of everything, what I've been through, where I've gone. So I originally wrote this pilot, or this webisode episode, funny enough, and then I got in this car accident, and I finished into a pilot, but I shot this trailer beforehand of a dream that I had. So this screenplay just came out of my imagination. I think it's the best way to state it. We're going to be starting where it ended last. I'm not going to give much about the first episode. I find the key of good writing or arc writing is that keeping each entity separate, but at the same time, being truthful and faithful to it all. As I do have a whole arc planned, and as I do have a whole storyline planned in here, and I do have room to elaborate too, which is nice. It's going to be turning into quite the story, I hope. A couple scenes I need to add in, a couple things I need to mature. First episode sounded pretty good yesterday. I heard it at the Calgary Cold Reads. And everyone that gave me comments, there was a couple grammatical errors in it, but I think 4 or 5 based off of what I used to have. That's nothing. Just really nice, and I just have to go through it, and I actually can easily grab it out after an edit. That's a huge advancement in my career, to be honest with people, because I'm dyslexic and I deal with bipolar, so motivation and in catching those things were really hard for me at the beginning of this. But not for other people's work, funny enough, just my own. I had this weird mental block about it. So we'll go back to where we left off. We left off at the crazy homeless man running across, grabbing the mic from the reporter, screaming in the camera, "They are coming! They are coming!" And then he's tackled by the cops. Cut to black. Insert church day. Fade in. Priest is on the phone with unknown. He's whispering. Tell the bishop, I have found another one. And this is where we will start back off. Our main character, Chris, has just been through a traumatic experience. and now he is looking for retribution as his safety nets are gone and everything that he knows in the area is not around him. So now it's time for Chris to take a journey and mature. Uh, and as we start any script, it always starts with either internal or external. This is a superhero script, so you really have to think about getting people tied in very quickly and smartly. And that's not even a fucking word. Oh, by the way, people, I swear. So if it happens, it happens. I'm gonna do my best to keep it, you know, as content as I can. And this is where I took the first episode to explain our main character. Where a good note of writing, and I really do like telling people this, I write from a place of honesty. And I originally wrote the character Chris for myself. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I feel like I'm too old. Some people say I should. We'll see. I have a lot of other roles I could play later in my career. I'm not too worried about it anymore. But going back to this, I used the first episode to open up the worlds with our lead character and writing from a place of, my heart and from my own soul. I use my own perspective to see everything. And I use this trick all the time. There's always a character I use that's like me or that can seem like me. I picked this up from Stephen King. Stephen King would use this common trait too, so he could place himself in the story as you're trying to explain what you're seeing or what you potentially could see. And it gives you a better viewpoint to approach, in my opinion. So Chris now is going from a place of life change into maybe a place of hope, and I'm using the second episode to introduce everyone else. Just get them all there, have some fun with them, expose a little bit. I don't have to expose them all, and then I can really, really really make a story come out of it. So internal. Let's go with this. Shumir Center. This script I'm adapting strictly to Calgary. Calgary has become my third home. I'm looking to do my life's work. The Rise of Kings is just the beginning of it. I already have a lot of stuff in play. And it's just, the location's exactly what I would like to do for shooting wise. So I'm excited to build my company this young in Calgary, and with the reputation that it has already with the Revenant, that's just a bonus in my opinion. And all the awards that are coming through Canada, I really lucked out. The music center's being built here, so I have one of the dopest music scenes in the world, to be honest with you, with that music center being built. So much history there. So Calgary's gonna be a fun city. And I've lived in Boston, LA. I'm back and forth between LA. That's just my life. But so going back, time frame wise, probably day, and he's gonna be in a support group. So I can really, explain a little bit more. Like I said, this is a second draft. So the key of a second draft is writing clean. You take what you had from the first draft, and you go and you implement it. A lot of it doesn't change, or the terms change, and this is why I give myself this liberty. My writing style evolved dramatically. in these past couple of years since I wrote the first script. And since it's the first introduction of a new script of our main character, Chris. This is the second episode of a series. I do not have to describe his characteristics, though. I don't have to, tell him the height or anything else like that. Just fine. If I'm introducing any new characters, yes, I do, and you should. But characters that you've already introduced and described, you don't have to. So Chris is my main character. Chris Solomon. Chris Schumann Center. Hallway day. Chris walks by a sign that says support. Funny enough, like my life actually kind of been mirroring what this has been happening. I have to go to a support group for bipolar now, and I have to go see stuff. Oh yeah, just to let people know too. If you're watching this, I'm gonna be getting stuff more formalized, but it's just trial and error, and I'm building bit by bit to just promote it properly. If you want to get a discount off of Writer Duet, Calgary is the magic word for me right now. I'll get a couple more from him to use properly, but I'm excited. I'm excited to use Writer Duet, and I'll be using it to teach a couple classes, and this is part of my hump video. So you guys are gonna deal with the pains and the length. So it's just gonna happen today. I'm just gonna keep on filming and just write and talk to myself, basically. The room is filled with people. That's going to be two different shots. I always think in action sequences that they're always, if there's a different shot, you need a different action sequence. It just happens with the flow in general. Scripts need to be aesthetically pleasing, and they need to be able to be read visually. We're talking about slides that run. That's the way I look at it. Every time a different person talks, just my mind just sees that cut that way, that cut that way. Or if I, put a parenthetical there, that's where the actions or the size come into play, which are, good actions to put into screenplays. He opens the door. The room is full. I don't need filled. I like full better. Writing action sequences are present tense. When we're writing as if we're watching it, so we want the reader to feel the same way. Filled with people. Add a new character, Sydney. I have a great idea for casting for this role in the group of roles. Blonde, 40s. Excuse me, I'm a little bit rusty. This happens. And like a lot of stuff too, you have to really keep in mind. I have some amazing shots. If I could get exactly what I would want, like I could tell you that I want to see this room filled, like an AA meeting, but with rows of chairs, and then have a tracking shot go down the way. Just watch that tracking shot go as I'm exposing my characters, and build tension visually as I'm a visual artist. Locations one of the hardest things to get in film. So when you're writing a lot of things too, you want to make it like as vague as possible, so it ignites the person's reading imagination with locations that they know. So when you write shots like that, sometimes it just you can, but it's never the best thing about it. And now this is all through the doorway too, by the way. So we're talking about Chris C. Sydney, and through the whole door's open. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change that a little bit, but I'm just going to do this first, though. Oh. What happened there? Scene. I'll just do this. Alright. He opens the door. Scene. Internal. Schumann Center. I don't know if it's spelt right, but it's a good location too. I'm going to be going there, and if I'm, if I can maybe wiggle my way in properly. My doctor's out of the, maybe a little too much. Anyways, Schumann Center. Conference room. That's what I'm looking for. Continuous. I like this. I'm so surprised, to be honest with everybody, that I've gotten to where I am with my exact knowledge of screenwriting. I was a natural, just storytelling, understand the format basically. And then I started screenwriting more and more, but I still have yet to really read a full book. I've read a bunch of screenplays, I've listened to a lot of people talk about it. I know a lot about it, and I've watched a lot of videos. Something about the way my mind gets it. I can't explain it, but there's some things I'm just like, wow, I got away with a lot of stuff. So when I'm teaching these classes and everything's coming by, I hope people really, really understand that, I did the minimum requirement needed to actually to get my screenplays in. These were all first drafts, so I just want people to understand that I'm excited to show what I really can do. Yeah. So this is where I'm just I don't know. So cool thing about Writer Duet, though, as you can see, I'm typing actually on two different computers, and I'll show what I can do with that. It really opens up the door with collaborations in general. And when you can really bring in a format, and I can bring in people now to work on the stuff with me, and I can have control of it too, to read my stuff, grammatically correct it, this program is revolutionizing my career and how I can do my work. And like, wow, awesome. I know a lot of other programs do it, but you have to have the program. This is a web browser based program done right. You know, Caltex was trying to be like this, but then it just like, I don't know what happened with that. I miss my that's where I learned to write, was Caltex. So like, this is where I would consider this the next best beginner software to use for screenwriting. So Sydney speaking in front of the crowd. There we go. Chris quietly steps in. I'm going to change this up a little bit more because I know this is a real environment. And because I know it's a real environment too, it's going to give more realism to my writing as I'm promoting this to people I'm going to try to sell it to. I know the locations, I know where they're at, they're already scouted, so this is kind of like a win-win. It's film's a lot of preparation, and if you're prepared, you're going to succeed, because at the end of the day, it's just getting a product out. The product might not be the best, but if you're prepared and you have the money, it better be the best. So that's stated. It's really grinding the workout. The room is full of people sitting at a board table. I'm going to highlight this, BOAR board, just because this is an interesting enough prop that it really describes what type of conference room it is. And, you could really say like 20 people could be in there then with this situation. It's full of people sitting at a board table, steps in. And finds an empty chair. This is my key. I had some dialogue here, so let's actually start some dialogue. Sydney is going to be the first one talking in this one. One thing about adapting this screenplay too, I feel features are all about the event. This was a little bit more character based, so now I really have to wiggle my way into the event and drag it out, but keeping the characters as strong as possible, because I'm looking at doing books with each one of these episodes. I like to be, 5 steps ahead at the end of the day. So this is just a grind for me now. It's great that I've written enough to state that and be more than comfortable about my abilities. So Sydney, 40s housewife? Yeah. And I tell people too, when you're really, really writing like a good pace, you're really writing 3 pages an hour, maybe. Um, and that's like, if you're writing 3 solid pages an hour, that's really good. If you're writing anything, more, that's prolific. And let's just say, like, sometimes I get in those moods, and I'm not the only writer, thank God. But when I get manic and I'm writing in a manic phase, I've gotten to a point where I've written 50 pages plus. I have two 20-page features started out that I wrote in about 2 hours. Sometimes the story's just getting there and it gets too much. But anyways, let's get back there. To sit in. He finds the chair to sit in. And this really helps out too with flow and pace. And when you start really getting into the writing process with the character names coming out, it really just helps out with your pace. And I had her crying. I think sobbing would be a better verb. She Sometimes I like putting the metaphors, and sometimes I like writing out some of this gibberish. It just looks fun to read. I don't know. Doesn't get me in trouble. But I need to really figure that out grammatically. I'm learning though. I'm finding more dashes. That's been my biggest weakness has been grammar. But it happens. She breaks down and down. I originally had Casper Van Dien actually in mind for this role. Sometimes, you meet some people. That's actually like 40s money sign, 40s clean shaven, um, reminds I should just write that. Reminds you of Casper Van Dien. Hey, it was just my birthday. 3 days ago. Damn. Oh, sometimes you have life just backhand you in the face, I guess. That's the best way to state it. Almost at one page. Yeah. changing a little bit up too. Should I do a cutaway? What's my B storyline in here? Yeah, actually, I should do a cutaway. Yeah, to build a little bit better, to build a little bit more tension in here, I'm gonna add a little bit of a story arc. Yeah. I think that might be a good idea. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna take a break for a minute. Rest my eyes. Sometimes you just don't rush things, and this is one reason why you just take it one step at a time and grind it out. I have a lot of other work that I have to go hit up, but I'm done with this scene right here. Now I'm just trying to think what would be a good interjection. I might make a note and hit it up actually a little bit later, but um, yeah, I got it now. I can do a simple interjection. I like it a lot better than a step outside. Um, just to give it a little bit more of that oomph, I guess. To add in like a bad guy vibe, but so we are at. No, I don't want that one yet. I want this. He sees Mary. 20s. I think this woman would catch anyone's eye. Long dark hair with frosted tips. There we go. Woo! Got through a page already. Under an hour, so hey. Not too shabby. Alright, actually I need to eat. I have a problem with eating, so I don't eat enough. I'm gonna take a little break. I'll be back. I'm just gonna pick it up from where I left off. Great thing about this is I can pause it. So I'll be back in a